वी डोंट हैव इट, वी डोंट हैव अ सेंस ऑफ ह्यूमर। मैं आपको बताऊं, एक बार एक जगह मैं परफॉर्म कर रहा था, तो मैं रिलीजन का, कास्ट का मजाक उड़ा रहा था कि जाट ऐसे होते हैं कि उनकी ये हरकतें होती हैं और ये गुजरों की हरकतें होती हैं। और बेसिकली आई वाज ट्राइंग टू से कि सारी कास्ट में ना बदतमीज़ किस्म के लोग भरे पड़े। देखो इसको। और तो सामने सरदार बैठे हुए थे 2-3, वो बड़े हंस रहे थे, बड़े ज़ोर ज़ोर से हंस रहे थे। अल्टीमेटली मैं उस सरदार के पास आया, उसने यहाँ पे टैटू करा रखा था, वो खालसा का। तो मैंने उससे पूछा, भाई ये टैटू कहाँ से कराया तूने यार? कहता नो 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 यार, प्लीज़ डोंट मेक फन ऑफ दिस, दिस इज़ आवर रिलीजन। यार कमाल है यार, तू पिछले 1 घंटे से बैठ के हर रिलीजन के ऊपर हंस रहा है, हर कास्ट के ऊपर हंस रहा है, और उसके बावजूद तेरे में इतना, मतलब इतनी बेवकूफ़ी की बात कि तू ये बोल भी रहा है हक से कि मेरी रिलीजन का मजाक मत उड़ाओ। तो ये हमारा नेशनल नेचर है सर।
You are a gay. A gay. Like a gay dude in India can never just be gay. He is a gay. A gay. Like he's an object. Like a chair or a woman. I'm kidding. I'll do these like small jokes in it. I'm kidding. Of course I'm kidding. Chairs are way more useful than women.
Thanks for, staying civilized for the last 40 minutes or so. It's a new record for Gurgaon.
खेले ही जा रहा है। फिर लोग लॉजिक ने 50 सेंचुरी किसने बनाई है? भाई किसी का बाल विवाह कर दोगे इतने बच्चे तो वो भी पैदा कर देगा।
Every man's major fantasy is 2 women. Not because it would be more fun, just so that after they were done, the women would have someone to talk to.
Who better to comment on rape than a government that has 366 MLAs who have been accused of rape? He's like, I have been there, done that.
Nirbhay would have been fine if she had just called the guy Bhaiya. Which is kind of presumptuous to assume that every rapist is a Bihari.
No river driver has ever been a victim of road rage. They can bump into Scorpio, angry Jats will come out, look at the car and go, oh. We scratched your little twiddle car. Oh. You go. No, we'll beat up somebody else. You go.
Hello, Indigo. It'll be a table for 4, yeah. Yeah, oh, for the champagne brunch, yeah. We'll be 2 Brahmins and 2 Shudras, yeah. Oh, you've reserved 33%. Excellent.
This is a country where, I mean, if you go on the internet and say, I like dogs, then there'll be 500 people saying, fuck you don't like cat or anti-cat, secular fucking paid agent, fuck you.
I make a joke on plants, people will be like, what the fuck, plants are holy, go fuck yourself. My plant is Sachin Tendulkar or whatever.
There's a show coming up in Vadodara. I have been specifically told not to do any Modi jokes.
For all I know, Modi can have a great sense of humor. Maybe a politician comes in a show and you do a joke about that politician, maybe he'll crack up, like it happens in USA. We don't even know that because there are other people who will take care of the situation.
The state never directly physically assaults you. The state will find people through which it will assault you, so that their hands are never dirty.
So it's a feudal culture of ours which helps people suck up to, flattery is our only method of rising in life.
तो मैंने वहाँ पर वही कहा कि मुलायम सिंह जी और पिता पुत्र दोनों, अखिलेश और मुलायम सिंह दोनों बैठे हुए थे। मैंने कहा कि भाई कमाल है, पिता पुत्र की जोड़ी को मैं प्रणाम करता हूँ और भगवान करे ऐसा पुत्र सबको नसीब हो। तालियां वाली बज गई और कि बताइए एक इतने बड़े स्टेट का सीएम बनने के बावजूद अपने फादर की एक भी बात का उल्लंघन नहीं करता है ये, है ना? तो ऐसा पुत्र सबको मिलना चाहिए। मैंने कहा, लोगों ने सुना, जितने समझने वाले थे वो, उसमें से कुछ लोग अगर ये क्या ये चीज़ है, उनका क्या है? हाँ, तो उन्होंने एंजॉय किया। दोनों बैठे हुए थे, एक दूसरे का मुंह देखा।
तो अब तो बहुत सारे नेता हमें इनडायरेक्टली मैसेज देते हैं कि हम उनका भी मजाक उड़ाएं।
So there are ways of getting around the political correct brigade. But what is I find equally dangerous is the PC business, where you can't say. Now they say, don't, on Facebook, if you've been following, they say, don't use the word rape. It's offensive. Don't even use the word I got raped here, it's bad, it's against. How easily do you use the word murder? People are saying, I'll murder for a samosa now.
All these intolerant people finally have an easy platform with which to air their intolerance.
We're just effing around, man, because we're bored. That's half the time it's all that. There's no passion in the hatred most of the time. It's just like something to do with the herd mentality.
Offensing is basically an industry today, It requires no investment, it doesn't even require brains, but it's giving you a tremendous payoff. You lay claim to a community on the basis of your ability to take offense. So you take offense as a group.
The laws in this country are really not conducive to complete free speech. And of course, it's free speech that would really define the boundaries that a satirist or a humorist can go to or push.
I do see stand-up continuing to be a force of resistance, but I also see it only being that simply because the government is not going to give it that much importance. If we were Dalit stand-up comics who were going from village to village talking out against the Brahmins, we would have been shot or killed or been under arrest. Let's be honest about it. We are upper middle class people with cultural capital.
Somebody needs to document this reality also, because we don't document our history anyway.
Everyone's set has one topic that people don't openly talk about.
और कारपेट पे हमारे फकॉल जर्नलिस्ट हो गए, इंडियन जर्नलिस्ट नो टैग, like Indian journalists were just harrowing stars, like hey ऐश्वर्या बाइक फोटो बाइक ऐश्वर्या फोटो बाइक ऐश्वर्या बच्चा किसका पता है ऐश्वर्या.
This is under the radar. It's like a party you having at home. You can say whatever. So it's not really taking chances for me. I don't agree. I think it's pandering to the audience.
Stand-up comedy, it's trying to say something which is not allowed in other spaces. Even if it's a frivolous, juvenile sex joke, it's still some kind of protest, some kind of resistance, some kind of a new voice coming in a public space, and people are accepting and applauding and in some way getting influenced by this thing कि चल यहाँ तो censorship नहीं है. Coming from Bombay, always good to come here and see how you guys are spending our tax money. I feel like जैसे वो मिल मजदूर अपने सेठ जी के घर जाए ना पहली बार, तो जो फीलिंग आती होगी ना उसको देख के कि अच्छा मेरे खून पसीने से, शर्म नहीं आती आप लोगों को दूसरों के पैसे गुलछर्रे उड़ाते हुए? और बहुत पैसे होते हैं ना तो आदमी को समझ नहीं आता कहाँ खर्च करे, तो फालतू चीजों में खर्च करता है. वैसे ही आप लोगों की भी मेट्रो में वो दो भाषाओं में अनाउंसमेंट चल रहा है और फालतू चीजों का अनाउंसमेंट. पैसे हैं, कोई नहीं, लगा दो. बोल रहा हो दरवाजे पे हाथ मत रखो, बताने की चीज है. वो दरवाजे दाईं तरफ खुलेंगे, बाईं तरफ खुलेंगे. इतने बड़े आपने एक तो वो क्लियर ग्लास के शीशे लगा रखे हैं, दिखता नहीं क्या? किधर खुलेंगे? देखो यार, हमारे बॉम्बे में साले दरवाजे ही नहीं है, खुलेंगे क्या?
जहाँ तक स्टैंड अप कॉमेडी की बात है, ह्यूमर की बात है, हंसने हंसाने की बात है, तो हिंदुस्तान में काफ़ी पुराने ज़माने से मैं समझता हूँ कि कई सदियों से ये सब चला आ रहा है.
The very fact that a Birbal existed at point of time, like, I mean, he was probably the first stand-up comedian ever. Where he's like, let me give you the solution with a joke. And Akbar was like, ha ha ha, laugh track.
जैसे जैसे वक्त बदलता गया फिर कवियों का दौर आया जो काफ़ी लंबे समय तक चला और आज भी चल रहा है. फिर कुछ कदम और आगे बढ़ा जब से फिल्मों का दौर शुरू हुआ और फिल्में कुछ आगे बढ़ी. तो वहाँ से मिमिक्री. तो मिमिक्री में भी कुछ लोग तो सीधे सीधे आवाज़ें निकालते थे और कुछ लोग उन आवाज़ों के जरिए अपने ह्यूमर को प्रेजेंट करते थे.
1972 में पाटकर हॉल बॉम्बे में टाउन साइड में बिरला हॉल पाटकर हॉल में मिमिक्री नाइट होती थी. हमारे जो म्यूजिशियन लोग थे कुछ म्यूजिकल आइटम भी करता था वो भी अपना नहीं था. तो म्यूजिशियन लोग बोलते थे भाई क्या करता है अपना करना है यार क्या लगा है तेरे गुरु के साथ भी बजाना पड़ता है तेरे साथ भी बजाना पड़ता है हम लोगों को. तो मुझे याद है अब इस वक्त याद आ रहा मैं माहिम चर्च गया था. वहाँ जाकर मैं जीसस के पास गिड़गिड़ाया. हालांकि मेरी कोई इज्जत ही नहीं है यार मेरा कोई आइटम होना चाहिए. मुझे एक आइटम दे दो एक आइटम दे दो गॉड प्लीज़ एक आइटम दे दो. मैं इसे गिड़गिड़ाता रहा. तो मैं माहिम से मैं रहता था किंग सर्कल पैदल माहिम चर्च से लेके मैं घर तक पहुंचा तो मेरी एक आइटम तैयार होगी कबड्डी. वो कबड्डी का आइटम बहुत फेमस हो गया.
ये देव साहब कबड्डी की बोहनी करते हैं. क्या बात है क्या बात है क्या बात है. सीधा खड़ा रहना जब देखो जब हिलते रहते क्या. अब शत्रु साहब किस तरह आते हैं देखिए. अल्लाह ये आवाज कहां से आएगी माँ. बाजू में कोई तबेला है कि क्या है.
कॉमेडियन को कभी स्लैक लिए नहीं गया कि इनके नाम से शो हो. वो तो लगता था किसी का शो होगा उसमें वो बीच में आएगा. कई बार तो मुंह पे ही कहते थे कि अरे अनुराधा पौडवाल जी कितनी देर गाएंगी. तो बोले क्या बीच में चाय वाय पियेंगी या साड़ी चेंज करेंगी. तो बोले एक मिमिक्री वाले को खड़ा कर देना. वहाँ से सबकी किस्मत बदल गई सबकी तकदीर बदल गई और अब हम लोग के इंडिविजुअल शो होने लगे. हमारे अपने नाम से नाइट होने लगी और फिलर के लिए कई बार हम लोग अब उसमें सिंगर रखते हैं.
Usually a comedian begins with like 2.5 minutes of material or 3 minutes of material. I began with 96 minutes of material. It must have been like 6 minutes of jokes and 90 minutes of just pure blue cussing. That's all there was in this show. लेकिन 4 साल का भड़ास निकाल दिया, you know what I mean, of drama school.
Hello, Mr. Bin Laden. Yes, this is Arjun calling from Hutch. I'd like to talk to you about your cell phone plan. Look, I'm a terrorist. I don't need a cell phone. No, sir. Sir, you're running from country to country. Now we have great roaming charges, sir.
I had 3 jobs. I was a security guard. I was a door-to-door knife salesman. And I was washing dishes at the Grand Lux Cafe. And there's a place 2 blocks down called Mike's. They did like an amateur night. All right, so Tuesday night, 2 minutes each. African American club, which is the worst place to bomb and the best place to kill. I was booed off stage 14 weeks in a row. Finally, I think I lost one of my jobs. So it was a bad day. It's a Tuesday night, I went to Mike's. And like I'll tell you verbatim what I said and how I got my first laugh as a comedian. I said, all you Americans are ignorant, racist, redneck hicks. You have no idea how important Indians are to you people. You underestimate us at every level. We drive your taxis and transport you from here to there and sell you petrol. We run gas stations that sell you condoms and medicines late at night. We sell you your newspapers on the streets of New York and Chicago and your newsstands. We sell you your food. Our doctors check out your wives' bodies and your bodies and make sure that you're healthy. Without Indians, you'd be starving, stranded, sexless, sterile, and stupid. And suddenly that was my first big laugh. You know what I mean? Because for the first time, I hadn't told a joke. You know what I mean? I just kind of just said shit. Genuinely, and I was like, fuck, okay, they like it when you insult them. I'll just do this, you know. my mom took Brown Men Can't Humka one video cassette to Vidyun Singh. All right, whose theatre and habitat is like doing like Lilet Jubei and Nasruddin Shah and all of that shit. And they played them a tape of a guy going, "Fuck you, motherfucker, suck my dick, fuck you, fuck you, fuck you." And just all these theatre people are just sitting looking going, he has talent.
People have all these tactics when it comes to alarm clocks. No, you know what you should do? You should set your watch 5 minutes fast. Then you'll always be on time. No! The last thing I want to do is wake up at 6 a.m. and do addition and subtraction. And you know you do it. You'll turn into a bloody scientist at 6 o'clock in the morning. You'll say it's not really, it's 5:55, and if I can break the space-time continuum, then I can sleep for another 5 minutes.
The reason I kind of got really popular really fast is because here was this guy who started talking to kids all of a sudden. So who said fuck and cunt and this and that, etc., and was just really edgy. It just kind of went from there. I got called by the Times of India to Bombay. Like, it's just mad dumb luck.
It's almost a country which has been waiting for this art form to come. And as you said, it's economical, one guy with a mic.
But in 3 years, it has gone from a scene, a subculture, into a commodity, which is an industry.
It's finally a viable entertainment option to live music or going out clubbing or movie, etc. So it's worth your Friday night ka cash.
How do we make sure that this is an art form that lasts as opposed to a trend that came and faded?
How much of its original ethos, which is about power, about resistance, about speaking truth to power, does it manage to encapsulate while still, quote-unquote, selling out?
So it's up to us to make sure that our jokes get just a little deeper, a little more observational, not relying on stereotypes, not relying on dropping names of famous people. I think once that happens, we're in it for the long run.
At this moment today, there is more demand for comedy than supply.
The interesting thing is seeing a circuit near its beginning. So all the comedians are fresh, the whole concept is fresh. The audiences haven't seen much of what they're doing, so there's a kind of an excitement and a newness to it, which has passed, certainly in Britain, that was probably there 20, 25 years ago.
It will get exciting, I think, when there are more comics. It's like 35 comics is no number, You have 3,000 professional comics. India is huge, you should.
The future of stand-up comedy in India is massive. There is going to be lots more clubs, there's going to be lots more people. It's going to be much harder to get into as a comedian, but much more exciting also.
He fits in properly amongst us.
Yeah, and he speaks the language as well now.
Gand mein mechi gusayanga.
कुछ लोगों का क्या? What's your name? My name is ये. Oh, is she your girlfriend? लड़की मना कर देती no. Oh, she already hates you. क्या है ये यार?
I've seen so many comedy shows where the comic starts with, okay, how many of you are Gujaratis in the house? And Gujaratis, 3-4 Gujaratis just raise their hand and then they say, okay, you must be the one who got the complimentary passes. So now it's a very easy stereotype.
If I do make a joke about the same thing but in a more layered joke, where the humor is same but it's implied in a different way, I think that's where your thing comes in.
We Sindhis have given such a big contribution to the world, which each of you use it whenever you go out to dine. And this is based on simple mathematical ratios of 1/2, 2/3, and 3/5 when it comes to soups. Come on, give a round of applause to Sindhis for doing this. Long time ago, 13 of us, we went to an NSCI, we ordered our own individual sweet corn chicken soup. The waiter took the order, went to the head of the table to the wicked Sindhi aunt. I still remember her face. Madam, 13 sweet corn chicken soup. तुम चले हो गया बच्चा लोग कितना सूप पिएगा एक काम करो इसको कैंसिल करो make it 3/13 3/13 how the fuck can you make 3 soups into 13 portions what kind of measuring instruments do they have in the kitchen I can imagine the chef doesn't know how to cook must be a computer geek surrounded inside by computers and calculators whose only job is to calculate these complex mathematical ratios and and to see that the restaurant doesn't go out of business. And he must be waiting dreadfully for the next waiter to come in and ask him, "Ab kya order hai, mother chod?" "Sir, tomato soup 5/23.
If somebody comes back from Bombay and says, I saw a comic who did a joke like this, I don't remember his name, I should be able to identify that comic by the new joke, which I have not even heard. So there should be a voice.
You just give it some time. Everybody will find their voice.
I think that these kids are doing lots of fresh observations.
My grandpa died when I was really young. And he died on my birthday, ironically enough. And I was about 6 then. And my first thought when he died on my birthday was like, what an asshole. Like, really, what a complete who dies on a child's birthday? It was so pissing off. Like, I had to return all the gifts to the kids and shit. It was pissing off, right? Like, cake sad raha tha wahan akela kone mein. It was like, it's tough. Because when you're a child, you really don't have any exposure to death. You don't. Like, my only exposure to death was this game I had played called Contra. So when my grandpa died, right, I expected him to come jumping from the sky with a gun like this. Did happen. Then I put a coin up his ass. Usse 1 up hota hai na, aadmi khada ho jata hai game mein. Just asshole stole my money. I was really pissed off. But here's what happened. I'm Sikh, right? So I had cousins who were supposed to come down from the Canada or some shit to pay their last respects or whatever. So we had to keep my grandpa's body in a fridge. We had to keep his body in the fridge. क्योंकि देखो फ्रिज में बॉडी नहीं रखी दादाजी कभी भी खराब हो जाएंगे. You never know. I'm from Delhi. It's really hot. कभी भी खराब हो सकता है. So my dad finally found this fridge, right? He found the fridge. He kept the body in the fridge. दादाजी chill कर रहे हैं थोड़ा आराम से मतलब fridge के अंदर. But my grandma, here's why I love her, right? She's such a practical woman. She's like, देखो दादाजी की बॉडी तुमने रखी हुई फ्रिज में. बिजली का बिल बहुत आ रहा है. अब दादाजी रखे हुए हैं तो थोड़ा साथ में सब्जी वगैरह भी रख दो मतलब उसके अंदर माटी से. See, because my grandpa loved mixed vegetables. And now he was one. So it was really poetic. I thought it was a nice way for him to go out, right? And a lot of times it's not even like a joke. It's not written like a joke where it is a setup and a punchline. It is just you being angry about something.
But fucking expensive that coffee. Expensive. Instead of that foam heart, they should just draw foam middle finger. Ye dekh, 150 rupees ka pega na ye dekh.
If I used to find a lot of English comics funny, then when I started doing stand-up myself, then I realized a lot of our local comics have been doing observations which is hilarious if you're Indian. And then you start finding inspirations here as well. Cricket is not a national sport at all. Our national sport is hockey. Hockey is a national sport, which is weird. Because whenever I see a dude with a hockey stick, my first thought is never, wow, this man will make our country proud one day. It's never that. Whenever I see a dude with a hockey stick, my first thought is, lagane wala kisi ki. Yeah. That is the emotion. The instrument for a national sport. Yeah. That's the first thought. It's really sad. A national sport is supposed to make parents go, mera beta bada hokar hockey player banega. The only parents who ever do that are ex-hockey players themselves, right? Even they are a little hesitant. Even they are like, mera beta bada hokar hockey player banega. Agar cricket mein baat nahi bani to. To give you perspective, our Indian hockey team in 2010, they went abroad and they played 4 championships, and we had podium finishes in every championship. We won the Asian Championship in 2010, and when they came back, a government gave them 25,000 rupees as salary for the entire month. 25,000 rupees. Same year, Dhoni made $2 million for the IPL, which is $2 million is 10 crore rupees to play 14 matches. Each match is 4 hours long, each hour is 60 minutes long, which means Dhoni got paid 3,000 rupees per minute to be on the cricket ground, which means Dhoni made more money than the entire hockey team in 8 minutes flat. To give you more perspective, each cricket match has a 10 minutes drinks break, which means Dhoni made more money during the drinks break than the entire hockey team in the entire month. While they're all like, chal garibi hatate, he's like, na tamiz se khela jata hai, na tamiz se blah blah blah. To give you more perspective, the human body takes 15 minutes to convert drinking water into piss. Which means Dhoni's body took longer to convert his body water into piss than he took to make more than the entire hockey team. Which means uski mood ki market value zyada hai unke salary se. That's what it means.
Every joke goes through a cycle, which is initially you write something, then you're nervous till you do it on stage for the first time. You do it on stage for the first time. then some bits don't work, some bits work. You take the bits that work, you punch them up further, you only do that the next time.
I remember after a hockey team won something and they'd come back and they were at the Mumbai airport, and I saw this video on NDTV where Dhanraj Pillai walked out, right? And a reporter went up to Dhanraj Pillai, was like, "Oh my God, Dhanraj अभी जीत के वापस आए हैं. पूरी देश में एक ही सवाल गूंज रही है. मेरे मन में एक ही सवाल गूंज रही है. Dhanraj, what do you think of Sachin's 100-100? Dhanraj, अब रो क्यों रहे Dhanraj? It's
If you see the same joke today, the joke is, half the joke has changed because from the first half of the joke, I've taken out some stuff, then you add bits to it. It goes from there to how miserable sports is in India. Then I do a story about how during the Commonwealth Games, the Commonwealth Games village had a monkey problem.
Delhi government went lower down the evolutionary scale to fix the monkey problem. And langurs are basically monkeys, but like they're like roadie monkeys, like they're monkeys from Lokhandwala. Let me rephrase that once again. The Delhi government, to fix the monkey problem, skipped over Delhi police, saying "Tum log fuck all wire to," and they went to langurs. They trusted the langurs over Delhi police.
In fact, when I write on my sheet, I used to write it Dhoni hockey. Now I write Commonwealth. It's not the same joke anymore. You know what I'm saying?
काफ़ी सारे लोग हैं जो कि हिंदी में भी कॉमेडी अच्छी कर रहे हैं, लेकिन इंग्लिश की कॉमेडी अभी थोड़ी सी आगे और इवॉल्व एट प्रेजेंट है.
The difference between Hindi comedy and English comedy is not merely of language. It's essentially of the taste.
इंग्लिश ह्यूमर की जब बात करते हैं तो वो इतना तेजी से क्यों पॉपुलर, क्यों फल फूल रहा है? क्योंकि स्ट्रेट फॉरवर्ड बात करते हैं, लोग बोलते हैं और लोग रिसीव करते हैं.
Hindi comedy is not stand-up comedy for me. It's very funny to a huge number of people, but they're telling jokes. They're not really sharing their own ideas. They're not sharing their stories.
Whereas English comedy, even the mainstream stuff is almost polemic.
When someone plays 40-45,000 people, they can't do jokes about religion. They can't do jokes about sex or whatever else that you might deem risky.
So the leverage that you have in Hindi in terms of touching upon, the grey areas is very, very limited.
मैं गांव की बात करता हूँ. अपने हिंदुस्तान के रीति रिवाज, जो हमारा कल्चर है, जो एक परंपरा है, उसके अंदर मैं कॉमेडी करता हूँ.
बस बेटा बहुत प्यार से पाला है. दूल्हा बोला कि हम लोग हंटर मार मार के पाले हैं. बेटा इतनी सी थी जब पैदा हुई थी, इतनी सी थी. तो बोले हम लोग क्या इतने थे? नहीं बेटा गाय बिटिया नहीं दे रहा हूँ बेटा, बिटिया नहीं है, ये गाय है गाय. दूल्हा डर गया, सही में तो नहीं गाय बांधी. दूल्हे ने अपने भाई से बोला पप्पू जा पता करो गाय तो नहीं है. वो अंदर गया, चेक करके आया, नहीं भाभी है. भाभी पूरी भाभी है. भाभी हमें 100 रुपया भी दिया और 2 लड्डू.
ऑडियंस को फर्क नहीं पड़ता वैसे लैंग्वेज से, जब तक कि आप काम की बात, मजे की बात कर रहे हो. हिंदुस्तान में अगर कोई अंग्रेजी में परफॉर्म कर रहा है, इट मीन्स वो पढ़ा लिखा है. हिंदी में वो गारंटी नहीं है. वो चीजें कवियों में थी और कवियों में है.
लेट 80s 90s में जब हम हिंदी के कवि सम्मेलन देखते थे, they were the most politically incorrect people.
बेवकूफ था सलमान खान, हिरण मार दिया जमानत नहीं हुई, आदमी मार दिया उसी दिन जमानत हो गई साहब. इस देश में आदमी की कोई कीमत नहीं, जिसे जब चाहे चाहे जहां मार दो. सारे मानव अधिकार आयोग इस देश में दानवों को बचाने की चिंता करते हैं, मानवों को बचाने की कोई चिंता नहीं.
अभी क्या इंग्लिश में you can do trivial things and but English stand up but Hindi is the next big thing, or English I should say.
Imagine कीजिए कलमाड़ी जैसे लोग किसी टेररिस्ट ऑर्गेनाइजेशन के चीफ होते. पहले तो वो 100 बम के पैसे में 10 बम खरीदते. उसमें से भी 9 फुस निकलते. एक फटता वो भी टाइम पे नहीं फटता. So at least terrorists are honest. That is why you have a term called as organized crime. Have you ever heard of the phrase organized governance? No, because there is none.
India has had a lot of satirical people at a regional level, but because Hindi and English is something that the elite understand, or Hindi mass, but English is something that the elite understand, we would like to believe that great work is happening. But I think it is more exposure to this work than the regional work. And for Pula Deshpande, if you see some of the stuff that he's done, it was literature in humor.
It is around 1945 or so that he started writing small stories. They were not stories, or they were not even sketches, that is word sketches of persons exactly, but it was something like anecdotal. He would change his entire mannerism in such a manner that you thought a woman is saying something, or an old man is saying something, or a child is saying something. The success of this person was such that there is to be an advertisement that there is going to be a show on a particular day, and the booking is to start at 8 o'clock in the morning on, let's say, a Monday. People would go and sleep on the footpaths the earlier night, and the line would go right up to the next street or the next square or something.
पिंजऱ्यात घातलेला कावळा मी एकदाच पाहिला, लंडनला झू मध्ये. अगदी पोपटाच्या आयटीत कावळा बसला होता पिंजऱ्यात. आपला हो हिंदी कावळा. पिंजऱ्याबाहेर त्याच्या नावाची पाटी सुद्धा होती, इंडियन क्रो अशी. लंडन मधले इतर हिंदी लोक जसे एकमेकांना पाहून न पाहिल्यासारखे करतात, तसं या हिंदी कावळ्याने सुद्धा माझ्याकडे पाहून न पाहिल्यासारखे.
See, it was genius. Why has Charlie Chaplin not flourished? See, it was just genius. It is impossible for anyone to reach that level.
कॉमेडी अब राइटर का काम है, अब बदल रही है. पढ़े लिखे अच्छे घरों के लोग इसमें आ रहे हैं.
Humor also evolves over time, you know, and audiences get more comedy literate, you know. So to start with, you can give them stuff that's on a plate. Eventually, you give them jokes where there's a pause and then they get it. There's a,
जब हम लोगों के नब्ज टटोलते हैं और उसके ऊपर जाते हैं और ऊपर जाकर के हंसा पाते हैं और लोग हंसते हैं, तो वो एक परिवर्तन हुआ है.
कॉमेडियन कोई बनता है क्या, जरा बताओ. कोई इट्स ऑल अबाउट स्टोरीज. ह्यूमर तो खाली एक एजेंट है, ह्यूमर के ऊपर स्टोरी राइड करती है. इट्स जस्ट एन एजेंट.
मेरा एक दोस्त आया लंदन में 10 साल रह के, और गाजियाबाद में आके सारी तमीज भूल गया कि हिंदुस्तान में रहते कैसे हैं. एक लड़की के हाथ पकड़ के घूम रहा था, पुलिस आ गई. वैसे नहीं आते हैं.
कुछ साल पहले, मतलब 10-12 साल पहले, मेरे कज़न की डेथ हुई एक्सीडेंट में गांव में, और मैं उस वक्त सिंगापुर से मैं काम करता था. सिंगापुर से मैं वापस आया तो मैं गांव में पहुंचा तो मेरे कज़न की बॉडी पड़ी हुई है, गांव के लोग इकट्ठे हैं, उसके माँ बाप भी हैं, रोना धोना चल रहा है. मैं वहाँ पे पहुंचा, सारी भीड़ ने मेरे को घेर लिया, क्योंकि मैं पहला बंदा था गांव से जो विदेश गया था. कि यार ये सिंगापुर कहाँ है, कानपुर के पास है. तो बच्चे की बॉडी वहाँ पड़ी हुई. बच्चे के बाप मेरे से कहता है कि जो जहाज उड़ता है ये क्या बादलों से भी ऊपर उड़ता है. मैं कहा हाँ बादलों से ऊपर उड़ रहा है. मैं वहाँ ग्रीव करने आया हूँ कि मेरे कज़न की डेथ हो गई, उसका ही बाप मेरे को कह रहा है कि यार क्यों झूठ बोल रहा है, बादलों से ऊपर कैसे उड़ सकता है यार जहाज. दैट इज द कॉन्टेक्स्ट दैट आई कम फ्रॉम. तो ह्यूमर कोई मैं इम्पोज नहीं करता. फेसबुक पे एक फिनोमेना है. फेसबुक में तो बहुत कुछ कार्टूनी होती है. अगर किसी कॉर्पोरेट ऑर्गेनाइजेशन का कोई बॉस है, वाइस प्रेसिडेंट लेवल का बंदा, जो बहुत ही मतलब कन्वेंशनली बहुत ही बदसूरत है, मान लो, वो अपनी एक पासपोर्ट साइज फोटो भी लगा देता है उसके ऊपर, जिसमें उसने सन ग्लासेस पहने हुए हैं, जैसे मैंने अभी ये पहने हुए हैं.
नीचे उसके चमचे लिख देंगे बॉलीवुड स्टफ सर. And then he replies, yeah, this is a picture taken by my 6-year-old son.
तो वो चमचा फिर लिखता है, वेरी टैलेंटेड सर, यू शुड पुट हिम इनटू फोटोग्राफी. तो ये गुलामी ही नहीं है तो और क्या है.
आजकल एक नया कल्चर है दिल्ली के अंदर कि जिन लोगों के पास थोड़ा पैसा, वो मैच देखने के लिए पब्स में चले जाते हैं और वहाँ पे पागलपन मचाते हैं, माहौल खराब करते हैं सारा का सारा. मैं भी किसी के कहने पे, ये अपना सेमीफाइनल हुआ था दोनों मुल्कों का मोहाली में, मैं देखने चला गया. गंद मचा रखी अर्बन टिच्चू ने वहाँ पे.
शोर मचा रहे हैं, भारत माता की जय, हर हर महादेव और जय माता दी. पढ़े लिखे लोग, ठीक है, औरतें भी चिल्ला रही हैं, कंधे पे तिरंगा बांधा हुआ है कि गो किल देम, जिंगोइज्म फालतू का।
बीच में पूरा का पूरा पब जैसे रॉक शो में कोरस में करते हैं ना, ऐसे ऐसे करके वी विल रॉक यू, लेकिन उन्होंने ये नहीं किया, राधे राधे विकेट दिला दे, राधे राधे विकेट दिला दे, राधे। I looked at them, I looked at the screen, बॉलिंग कर रहा था ज़हीर खान।
बीच में ड्रिंक्स ब्रेक हुआ, सिगरेट ब्रेक के लिए बाहर आया, मैं भी बाहर आया। अगर आप जाएं सेलेक्ट सिटी वॉक साकेत मॉल के पास एक पब हुआ करता था ऑरेंज हारा करके, लेकिन वो पब तो बंद हो गया है, लेकिन वहाँ पे आपको एक आदमी भी दिखेगा 80-85 साल का, एक अंधा भिखारी है, कोई सा मुस्लिम, जो लुंगी पहनता है और एक कुर्ता पहनता है और एक टोपी पहनता है, सिर्फ ही इज ब्लाइंड, और उसके साथ 4 या 5 साल की एक बच्ची जो उसका हाथ पकड़ पकड़ के दोनों भीख मांगते हैं। ये दोनों भीख मांगते हुए आए, और ये सारे जिनको मैं अर्बन टुच्चे कहता हूँ, ये बाहर खड़े होकर सिगरेट पी रहे थे। उन्होंने बच्चे से बुलवाया और बुढ़े से बुलवाया कि बोलो जीतेगा भी जीतेगा, हमारा इंडिया जीतेगा, 4 बार बुलवा के तब 2 रुपए दिए उसको। इस ऑडियंस की मैं फिक्र करूं कि ये हंसेगा या नहीं हंसेगा, इस ऑडियंस की मैं ये फिक्र करूं कि कहीं मेरे को रिजेक्ट ना कर दे।
Which are the cities most conducive to comedy in India?
I think Bombay and Delhi.
Mumbai, Bangalore,
Shillong was a great house.
Kochi,
चेन्नई, बम्बई में भी अच्छा रिस्पांस मिलता है और दिल्ली में भी बहुत अच्छा रिस्पांस मिलता है।
Pune had a lovely show.
Patna, Jharkhand. You didn't know that.
Every day I see signboards saying Indigo flying to Kochi, Indigo flying to Kozhikode. Can you just simplify life and have an Indigo flight from Andheri East to Andheri West? Even with check-in and security, you'll still reach faster than by traffic.
So Bombay is great.
Bombay and Bangalore.
Some parts of Bangalore are like Delhi because people are new to comedy.
With Delhi, it's a hit and miss. Delhi is not very large on subtlety.
I wanted to see a one-on-one race. Michael Schumacher versus Delhi driver. Right? Just imagine this race. Pole position, Michael Schumacher in Formula 1 car. Number 2 position, call center driver from Gurgaon in Tavera. All the lights are red saying relax. Tavera's already rolled down the window and said, "Kyun bhai race karega venture." All the lights become yellow. Schumacher's waiting to go. This guy's already fucked off. This is Delhi, boss. Nobody waits at a yellow light.
Delhi, which ironically enough about 4-5 years back had a much better thriving scene, but it doesn't now. Why? I think the difference is because Delhi never had the kind of venue like the Comedy Store in Bombay to sort of around which all the comics could oscillate.
Actually, at the moment, the whole scene, audience and comedians, is growing all at the same time. So that's very interesting.
Today, India is the easiest place on the planet to do stand-up comedy.
Indian crowds are so sweet. They're like, yeah, so supportive.
Rarely do we get heckled, but heckling is a regular phenomenon in the US and in the UK. We don't get heckled at all.
If I'm trying something new and there's silence, then I'm a little worried. I'm like, okay, maybe I need to revisit this. But if it's something I've done before and I know for a fact it's got strength and it's got character, that joke, I don't mind the silence because I know they're listening to me.
The test of an audience is never how much they're laughing or clapping, but when you pause, how much silence there is. Then you know you've got them right there and they're listening to every single word.
जो 4 शहर हैं हमारे बड़े, एक जैसी सोच है, एक जैसे बेवकूफ हैं.
The rich India is so similar.
सबकी सोच सेम है.
They have same problems of not enough followers on Twitter.
Oh, hello, welcome. Have a seat. Are you comfortable? Could we get you something? Cup of chai, water, maybe a watch? No?
It's not about cities, it's about rooms, man. You know, like, I do a show for the Rotary Club every year, which is like 60 and above. They're just grandparents in there. It's my filthiest show of the year. It really is. It's filthy. I do it in Delhi, where I can say anything because all of these old guys are there without bachcha, without grandchild, and they just like, fuck it, talk about tits and balls. You know what I mean? Like, do it now.
Indian people can't do orgies because you squash 50 Indians together. Eventually, one guy in the center is going to stand up. Bhai sahab, dadar aa gaya.
Cartooning, firstly, is dying. There's overall dearth. We are a huge country. How many cartoonists can you name? It's not a career. Cartooning is not a career. You know, everybody say you are a fool if you want to be a cartoonist. doesn't start off being a paying profession. Initial payments are low.
A lot of them are using foreign syndicated material. So why aren't there more Indian cartoonists? What you need is sort of talent scouts, headhunters who go out and, find these people.
Is there a colonial mindset involved here that, cartoons of the West are better, superior to ours, and we don't have good indigenous talent?
You might be quite right over there, yes.
The incubation period of a cartoonist is fairly long. I don't think the times now allow that. The newspapers don't invest time, money, resources in the growth of a cartoonist. Nobody is a cartoonist on the first day. It takes years to get your style, get your humor. So it takes practice. Platform is not so readily available. Times are trying. It's easier for people to take offense. Good and a free cartoonist is a loose cannon, or should be a loose cannon. He should be able to do whatever he wants. But now, with the lots of periodicals have various kinds of tie-ins that may not be kind of in line with the views of the officially.
I make comic strip in English, right? But then some newspapers started translating it to Hindi and Gujarati. But English comic strips never had a problem, ever. Hindi, Nabhar Times used to print it. They will say, we're not running it. It has Allah, it has Vishnu Ji, we're not touching it.
I managed to say exactly what I want to say without, by subtlety. Or by, innuendo, by obliquity, by going over or under the radar. You kind of use such language that your audience will understand, but not the rabbits.
Comic strip, there are only 3 panels. So I thought I'm crunching the words because there's no space. Only in stand-up comedy I have seen that I was talking too much. Stand-up comedy has this problem of verbosity. People just, talk a lot more than they should.
When I'm writing one of my columns, then it helps because then I bring some of that visual element into it. And I can imagine what the people are doing, So it brings in a more of a descriptive narrative.
What I can't do in my drawing, I would like to do in my stand-up.
What is that? What can't you do in your drawing you should do?
Sexual stuff. Scatological stuff.
And the pigeons there tell a story. The story of my sex life. Which is something like this. First, the male pigeon. Dena, 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 dena. Dena, 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 dena. The female pigeon. Dena, 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 dena. This goes on for like 15 to 20 minutes. 4 to 6 years in human time. And the female, I think, more out of pity than anything else, says, lay.
I find whatever I'm doing, every 2 months, it improves dramatically for me. Maybe just saying my line, I'm talking at them rather than talking with them. These kind of things you keep learning.
Have you performed it?
Yeah, this is the best one for me.
Really?
I don't know why, but I always do my best shows here for some reason.
What do you think the reason is?
Also because we get India with us first and then this. So all the mistakes of yesterday I'm not bringing here. That always helps. And the thing gets kind of said that's all the rehearsal. This will be the real show. I'm scared of flying. I'm petrified. I think I'm gonna die. Every flight I take is my last flight. I say I should have put on a funny status on Facebook because that's gonna be my last status ever. I'm petrified of flying. See, technology I trust. Okay, plane, I understand. The science behind plane will take off. I trust the technology. I don't trust those pilots. I don't trust those pilots, man. Because once we take off, those pilots are just having sex. You know it. Come on. Why do you need 2 pilots? The plane already has autopilot. Why do you need 2 pilots? Because you're just busy making out. That's why the door is locked all the time. Who is that? The air hostess? Pilot? Which airline do you fly? Jet. Okay, besides Jet, every other plate, you know, they're busy making out. Sometimes they got so passionate, the entire plane shakes. You notice? And the air hostess try to cover for them. Oh, bad weather. Really? I can see the sky, I can see the sun, bad weather. You think I never heard of sex or what? Just grow up, man. You know, would you believe I did this bit yesterday at India Habitat Center, and would you believe throughout this bit, one girl kept saying, no, we don't. I asked, who are you? She is a pilot. What are the odds a female pilot will be sitting during? And she was sitting with this, I don't know, her parents or her in-laws. She was frantic. No, we don't. The door is locked for security. No, we don't. Oh my God. You can tell a joke in about a minute, but then you can also edit it so you take out useless word, useless idea. You can crunch that joke to 15 seconds also, which means, in a minute they laugh 4 times, which some people say is better. If they're laughing continuously, then laughter builds up for everybody, for me and for them. But of late, I've been reading about it, and it seems to make sense that for audience it's not important that, okay, second comic was 20% funnier than the other 2 comics. That really is unimportant. But I think it's important to them that you say something which connects with them.
How come there are such few female comics in India or in general?
Women don't need the attention.
They get enough attention.
Indian women, to a large extent, have like they never require. We're already like, hello, you are. But we need like.
I'm not defining audience by gender because I'm not doing my job keeping in mind my gender. Once a journalist said, so, as a female comedian, what are the problems that you face? So I said, traffic, mosquitoes, and she didn't get it.
My mom used to tell me to be careful of the kind of clothes I wear. I was wearing a t-shirt that had a flower on it, and this chipda fellow comes to me and says, hi madam, sung look. I'm not kidding, this is not true stuff. I wore a t-shirt that had a smiley on it. And this guy says, I would also be smiling if my face was there. I gave up on fashion. I started wearing plain t-shirts. It just said Levi's out here. And this creative fellow comes to me and says, so madam, what is the other one called? You want to solve the illiteracy crisis in this country? Put the alphabet on a girl's t-shirt.
A lot of times, people are open to humor or they expect guys to be funny. But for a female, there's a predetermined thing in their heads that women can't be funny. If she is, she's ranting, she's an angry bitch. If she is funny, arey ajeeb si aurat hai yaar, kaisi kitni besharam hai. So there are these little preset notions. I have realized that saying the word sanitary napkins in public is like, I'm not trying to be dirty. I'm just trying to talk about it more to take away the power from it. Each pad is individually wrapped, which is then placed inside a plastic packet, which is then wrapped in newspaper by the chemist, and then placed inside a black plastic bag. I have seen more careless cocaine smugglers at the Afghani border. At the end of the day, if you're telling the truth and if you can stand behind it with 100% conviction, then what's the shame? My favorite part of any Miss India show was the question answer round. Yeah. Manjari, contestant number 8. Your question is, if you had to choose between being a homemaker and being a career-minded woman, who would you choose? Judges, I would like to thank you very much for your questions. The question that you have asked me is if I had to choose between a woman who is a homemaker and a woman who is very much career-minded, who would I choose? That's what's great about comedy, is that you are your most vulnerable, insecure, angry, happy, sad self. You can't be anything else. Because 1, the audience will see right through you, and 2, it'll ring untrue.
When Rajesh Khanna died, the newspaper said Rajesh Khanna's last words were "Time ho gaya,
back up. Really? Everybody knows Rajesh Khanna's last words were, old monkey bottle basket.
What we are saying is the same stuff people are thinking in their living rooms, but too afraid to say in public. So we are kind of taking the initiative, and we are going to push that envelope, and we will land, some of us will land in trouble. People are
It's only a matter of time. I do think one of us will get in trouble for sure. And it will be interesting to see the impact of that and how it affects other stand-up comics.
It's bound to happen. It should happen. It's a good thing. Then at least comics, at the moment they're like children. We have the mic, we can say whatever. No, you cannot say whatever. The kind of language people use about other celebrities, there should be a line somewhere.
In India, if somebody wants to take offense, they can take offense to anything. So you will not even know what they found offensive about your joke. And while writing it, you don't think it's the most offensive joke.
Stand-up comedy should come with a politics of its own, which people don't understand. For them, stand-up comedy is cracking jokes, making people laugh.
अगर आप सोचते हो कि आप फनी बनना चाहते हो, मैं आज से ना मैं स्टार्ट करता हूँ कि मैं फनी बनूंगा, आई एम सॉरी आप नहीं बन पाओगे. जब तक आपको कहानी नहीं, और कहानी कहाँ से आती है? कहानी तो कॉन्फ्लिक्ट से ही आती है. कहानी तो जो अर्बन रूरल डिवाइड है इंडिया का, जो इंडिया की जो मैनी इंडिया स्टोरी है, कहानी तो वहाँ से आती है.
Finally, you're a comic. You've come to see comedy. You're not come to hear stories.
मुझे ये लॉजिक समझ में नहीं आता कि ऑडियंस तो हंसने आई है. तुम क्या करने आए हो? क्या तुम हंसाने के लिए आए हो? तो फिर एक काम करो, एक पूंछ लगा के आ जाओ और दुकान ऐसे बड़े बड़े निकाल लो, उछल कूद कर लो 2-3 बार, बफूनरी सी करके ऑडियंस हंस जाएगा, बच्चे भी हंस जाएंगे.
How a culture grows. It won't grow just by making people laugh.
The germ of stand-up is essentially questioning, like when you observe something, so you question here, why is this so? And the answer to that is probably a funny take or something that people haven't thought about.
So if I write a joke, I wanted to work at corporates, I wanted to work in the US, I wanted to work in India, I wanted to work in all states in India. So it's quite generic.
Every Indian language sounds like a musical instrument to me. Like Malayalam sounds like a tabla. It's great. Tandak talakittu nya atikittu tum patti tenni nari tudum tish. It's great. It's great, lovely. Gujarati sounds like those useless musicians in the back going with the shakers, Kimchi, macha macha, kimchi, macha macha. But the only language that could sound like a freaking dholak has got to be Punjabi, obviously.
When you shut that door, when you're paying that amount of money for that show, come and laugh at what I'm doing instead of laughing at what's happening there and making you realize what's wrong with the world. That's my perspective.
I'll happily give the audience what they want a lot of the times, assuming it doesn't conflict with my personal point of view. And there are other times where if I believe in a certain point of view, I will talk about it, no matter how uncomfortable it makes the audience.
If you want to be a stand-up comedian in India, you should be a journalist first. Natural career progression. It really is. Because both professions involve waking up and talking shit about shit you know nothing about.
आज भी आप पुरानी फिल्में देखिए, किशोर कुमार, महमूद साहब, जॉनी वाकर साहब, इनकी फिल्में देखिए तो आपको अच्छा लगेगा. आज कौन से ऐसे सीन्स हैं, कौन से ऐसे स्टैंड अप के आइटम्स हैं जिसको आप दोबारा देखना चाहेंगे?
Let's go as far back as Rajendra Nath Sahab. Rajendra Nath Sahab, hui, with the shorts. Massive actor at that point. He was in every film. He was every hero's friend who was there to provide the mandatory laughs. Comedy in cinema for a very long time was a prop. A comedian or a comic actor has traditionally not been looked upon as an actor, which is tragic from a comic perspective. Let's, for example, take Shahenshah, where Bachchan Shah's alter ego was extremely funny. This entire wave started where the lead players started taking on the comic mantle also. Today, comic graph of a film is more integral to the plot than it used to be.
मेरा नहीं ख्याल कि जाने भी 2000 के बाद कोई फिल्म आई है जिसमें कुछ बात है, कुछ दम है ह्यूमर के मामले में.
I've written so many genres, I can't tell you. Now it has become, every question put to me is why I don't make more. But who is going to make it?
Janne is a kind of a accident with a bunch of
all these outstanding people are together. All these people are kind of expressing a kind of anger. There's some kind of freedom in the air. There are no commercial pressures to say this or that.
हमारी इंडियन मेंटालिटी ये है, सेफ चलो, बच के चलो यार.
This careful, cautious approach is what is the most worrying as well as one of the dominant aspects of Indian humor.
You can't say Rajiv Gandhi in a film. You can't you can't even say LTT, which is a terrorist organization which is almost finished, like in another country. उसका भी आप नाम नहीं ले सकते आज की तारीख में. So it's about humor is about taking names, no?
People are insecure actually to let power go, to let new people, come in.
Older people, I think ego, self-importance, no understanding of irony, that's a big thing. Like I remember, being at FTI and listening to a lot of older filmmakers. And they tend to be less curious, less ironic. So that I think absolutely affects them. And this generation is cynical, ironic, funny, which is very hopeful. I mean, to me, that's a lot of hope in there. They have this sort of cynicism and sense of irony and sense of less self-importance, If you meet Indians of a certain generation, it's all sort of, I did this and then I did that.
What I had next to me, I had one of these old Indian men. And I've realized if you're an Indian man after 60, you can say anything. And no racist sex, doesn't matter. Whatever filter you have, whatever your children taught you, fuck it. He looked at me straight, he said, you're damn fat. Thank you, sir. Then out of nowhere, we're not talking, out of nowhere, these air hostesses, they're all prostitutes. Ask them. What? Ask them, they're all hoes, ask them, ask them. I'm not asking them, just nonsense. I'm into dalda, he said. What are you into? I said, I'm very much out of dalda. And what I realized, if you're an old Indian man, grandfathers, whatever, they have rubbish notions of politics, but they say it with complete certainty. This is rubbish, thoroughly incorrect. The uninformed, he said, all this is happening in Delhi, young people are protesting, beta, something, all organized by America. What? All this protest, rape, whatever happening, CIA. What? I know. I said, that makes no sense, sir. No answer? You're damn fat.
So I always start with the character in a situation and I think of what this person would do or not do in that situation. Like in my stand-up, I create a character that's me, but not entirely me. It's just, I have variations. I don't have a child. I invent a child for my performance.
Text messages. I can't, my son sends me text messages. All the vowels are dropped. It's just a series of consonants. I look at my phone, it's a different view. Like, when did my son become Uzbeki? And I give it to my wife, he's like, he'll be home by 4 o'clock. When did you become Uzbeki?
When I started telling the stories, my interest was in the story. I didn't really know where the joke was or where they'd laugh. And I really wasn't that interested in where the punchline is. Now, the more mechanical you get, you start looking for the punchline. And that's horrible, I think. It's a very bad way to think about it because it kind of ruins the story you want to tell.
Does it affect the way you write for stand-up?
It's beginning to, and I don't like it, I try to keep that side of my head away from it.
Yeah, I like English people. They understand me, I understand them. I like to go to London. I said, great, fucking great. So he took his son for the first time. His son is from Karan Johar's India. So he took his son, and his son is like a bastard dad, shoot dad, fucker dad, homo dad. He said, come, beta, come, I'll show you London, beta, London. And he saw an English person. He said, finally I can have a conversation. I'm out of India. It's barbaric. Hello, English person. Hello, good evening. I'm taking my son, as you can say, to the Victoria and Albert Museum. Can you tell me where it is? I say, see, now you speak proper English. See, here, learn. And this Englishman was like, yeah, you want Victoria and Albert Museum, yeah? Yeah, it's no problem, yeah. Oh, you do, yeah? You go straight right. It's like a McDonald's, yeah? It's like across from McDonald's, yeah? It's like a massive, like a Victorian, like monument or whatever. It's like right in front of me, yeah? It's like across from me, yeah? You can see itches. And he said what all posh Indians say. In his head, he said, "Ye sala kya bol raha hai?" And 250 years of British history was wiped out of his face. And he was looking around all fucking lost. And just then a lovely gentleman came up and he said, "Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt, sir, but you are looking for the Victorian Albert Museum, sir. What you do, sir, you go straight, sir. There's a massive Gregorian building. You can't miss it. The statue of George VI right in front of this McDonald's, right in the corner. Have a lovely day." And he said, "Finally, an Englishman. This is what I'm talking about. Your name, sir, Jaspal Singh Khurana." I'm the mayor of London. It's a 3 o'clock in it.
Welcome to Make My Yatra Expert tutorial. Today we have a case study in how not to conduct a yatra.
One of the reasons I think that this show is able to be successful and long running is because it's not really in the space of satire or comedy, playful/fun show.
Ayla, what train was that passed me by and didn't stop only?
अरे भाई, that was Chennai Express.
मोर सेंसेकर जब मैं लिखता था उस वक्त मैं आपको बताऊं सेक्स के बहुत सारे जोक्स, कॉन्डोम के जोक्स और पॉलिटिकल लोगों पे डायरेक्ट सटायर, ये आज से 12-15 साल पहले कर चुका है लोग टेलीविजन पे। तो 10-15 सालों में और आगे जाना चाहिए था। हम उससे 15 वापस मोर सेंसेकर चालू हुआ, 4 दिन में बंद हो गया। आप ये नहीं कर सकते हो, चैनल वाले आके आप इनका नाम मत लो, आप उनका नाम मत लो, ये मत करो, वो मत करो।
One of these cooking shows, the word beef wasn't allowed to be said while the guy was making beef.
We were writing a show for Aaj Tak called ऐसी की तैसी. I was the lead writer of the show. अभिषेक और ऐश्वर्या की शादी हो रही थी, तो it was the topic. मैसेज आता है कि stop doing jokes on अमिताभ बच्चन, which was okay, ठीक है, आपको उस पर जोक नहीं करना, हमको इतनी बात समझ में आई. But the second part of the message was very interesting. It was do jokes on Shah Rukh Khan and Amar Singh.
I want to beat him up. I want to break his nose. Then he'll look like Akhilesh.
The biggest challenge first for this kind of show is to find the right kind of news to take off on. Because this is the theory I have, and Cyrus disagrees with me very often on this, is that if you...
In case your viewers have died now, I'll take over. It's not exactly that grave and serious and grievous and all that. It's just a silly show where we try to spin the news in one way. And hopefully it's funny.
My God, sounded like my first day at marriage.
Because we are a news-based show, we are doing a bit of social media.
Yes, that's why. That's why I like this show. I'm part of it, but otherwise also, when I was not part of this show, I used to love it.
Okay. You like it better when you want.
And you have insulted my family.
We don't have that ability in India. We can't take people, look at them from every point of view and then still like them. What the hell? If there are these things about him, there are these things about him. But for us, once you're a great man, we have to bend over, sycophant.
I am telling you this, okay? The only way this kind of humor works is that the approving authority is good.
So why did all you cricketing legends take so long to speak up about this Srinivasan controversy, sir? No, that's all nonsense, all nonsense. The Srinivasan controversy, all nonsense. You are bringing up all these stories, Gaurav. You want to play anything you want, Gaurav. It's your channel, Gaurav. You say what you want, Gaurav. What do you, Gaurav? Understand one thing. What do you call it? What do you call it? If it's my channel, I'll say what I want, Gaurav. No, I'm not Gaurav. Gaurav is much shorter than me.
Biggest satisfaction that I have is not that it's the first internet show or this. My biggest satisfaction is that no writer has ever been silenced on Jain.
हमेशा सरकार तरह तरह के बिल हमारे नाम पे फाड़ती रहती है बेटा समझ में नहीं आता है कि ये बिल फाड़ रही है कि आम आदमी की गांड फाड़ रही है
We have seen good jokes always work. Good segments always work. You can, and it's very easy to see. Just go on YouTube.
तो आजकल के माहौल पे, ताजे माहौल पे 2-3 दोहे लिखे हैं। ये पहले वाला है। उनके लिए जो अब तक करप्शन करने के लिए मौका ही तलाश रहे हैं। नेताओं की बात कर रहा हूं। काल करे सो आज कर, काल करे सो आज कर और आज करे सो अब पल में सरकार बदलेगी करप्शन करेगा कब अरे पगले करप्शन करेगा कब
So it's a irreverence because it's a site which has been banned by Indian government. So we are keeping Savita Bhabhi alive.
ये सब शुरू कैसे हुआ
Well, मैं बचपन से हमेशा सोचा करती थी कि लोग कॉमिक स्ट्रिप को स्ट्रिप क्यों कहते हैं जबकि यहाँ पर तो कोई भी स्ट्रिप नहीं करता फिर मैंने सोचा let me make it logical.
Because we are criticizing the present government, somehow we must be on the side of opposition, right? This is so we have landed up with a humongous viewership among Modi supporters. Now that's a problem. Like Savita Bhabhi, we have another albatross, which is that the moment we do anything against Modi, our own audience reacts badly to it.
So what's your reaction?
We don't do it, we do it. We have to live it. Now they're learning to live with it.
स्टैचू ऑफ लिबर्टी को काठियावाड़ी घाघरा पहना के परी हूं मैं पे डांडिया नहीं करवाया तो घंटा वाइब्रेंट गुजरात.
I write a web comic with my friend Sumit Kumar and we made a comic on Gujarat, on the Modi thing, and we haven't said Modi, we haven't used any of those catchphrases, but still Gujarat में तो दंगे ही होते हैं. And the activity that we saw on Facebook, कैसे कैसे कह सकते हैं, कभी आइए गुजरात में और ये देखिए वो मोदी जी ने ये क्या है, आप कैसे कह सकते हैं. Tonight we have a very special guest, a very close friend of the Sheikh. They have been together for years and years, Mr. Rahul Ram of the band Indian Ocean. Welcome.
Thank you, thank you. How you doing, Sheikh?
Assalamu alaikum. All right.
मैं कौन छू माने खबर नहीं वारे पापा कौन छे वारे मम्मी कौन छे.
Yes, the Sheikh is curious. What is the secret of your very grandiose beard?
Is that what he said?
Yes.
The secret is.
Would you like to translate? I could leave. It's not an issue. Internet gives you that freedom that I can hide behind my screen and I can say kuch bhi.
You know how beggars come and they will just put their hand out and just expect money.
Yeah.
And in my head, I'm like, at least give me a performance.
Yeah.
Do something. Clap your hands. Like, look at, like, cut your hand off something at least.
The show is called All India Bakchod. It is, Bakchod is slang for just
Talking
trash
in its most innocuous definition.
I want you to repeat this, Andy.
Yes.
Because our viewers will love this.
Yes.
Wankhede mein aaya bhoot.
Wankhede mein aaya bhoot.
Pakistan. What am I saying? I want to take legal advice here. What is this?
YouTube's long-term plan around the world is to kill television eventually, right? I mean, that's already happening. You have your internet is taking over, blah and blah. Now, YouTube wants to make their presence felt in all the smaller, more developing countries.
Bro, pass the popcorn, bro.
For shiz, yo.
Represent.
Yeah.
बे ओए, पूरा का पूरा पॉपकॉर्न पास कर मादर चोद.
हट बैंक चोद नहीं देंगे पॉपकॉर्न.
काहे न देंगे बैंक चोद.
पंगा लेगा साले गांडू.
अरे काके लेंगे भोसड़ी के.
अबे तुम्हारी गांड से निकालेंगे पॉपकॉर्न. चल हटना बैंक चोद.
लौड़ा फेंक के मारेंगे.
अबे
खानदान
चल.
छुट जाएगा मादर चोद.
चल.
साला बोले थे पॉपकॉर्न दे दो बैंक चोद.
India has a massive advertising/branding scene. Most of your brands have a digital budget, which, because they're clueless, they don't know where to invest.
It all begins with what you wear. Scientific studies suggest that women who wear skirts are the leading cause of rape. Do you know why? Because men have eyes. In fact, here are some examples of provocative clothing that could cause rape.
मोदी भाई को एक बार प्राइम मिनिस्टर बनने दे, फिर तुम सिक्कुलर लोगों की कैसी बजाएगा ना देख लेना.
चल जाने दे हैं, जाने दे. यूएस का वीजा तो मिला नहीं अभी तक. जब देखो स्टाइप पे हेलो आवाज आ रही है, सुनाई दे रहा है.
अबे देख यहाँ से भी गुजरात का रास्ता कितना मस्त दिखता है. भोसड़ी के ग्रेट वॉल ऑफ चाइना है वो सर. हाँ तो मोदी ने ही बनाया ना.
When we produce video, we beg, borrow, steal to cut costs everywhere else. All our actors come for free. Everybody does us a favor.
Damn excited, man. Heard very good things.
थोड़ा ज्यादा लंबा हो गया.
This is a democracy. We have rights, okay? What do you want to be? You want to be the pussies that said nothing, or do you want to be the guys that took free speech back? Oh, this is my fault now.
दस दिन तक मुझे पुलिस सिक्योरिटी में रहना पड़ा. 10 दिन तक. और 4 दिन तक कंटिन्यू मेरे पास थ्रेटनिंग कॉल्स ऑल ओवर वर्ल्ड. कुछ नहीं.
हेलो सुमित.
फौजा सिंह जी, शो पे आने के लिए बहुत बहुत शुक्रिया. ये आप भाग क्यों रहे हैं?
और सुमित, मैं तुम्हें क्या बताऊं, अब मैं तो 84 से भाग रहा हूं. और पहले जी टाइटलर से भागते भागते कनाडा आया. और उसके बाद सितंबर 11 के बाद गोरों से भाग रहा हूं मैं.
आपने 84 का नाम कैसे लिया? 84 का जिक्र कैसे किया? आपको पता है 84 में क्या हुआ? और तनु पता है 84 का नाम कैसे है? और 84 पता है दिल से लगी है. अरे मुझे भी पता है और मैं वही बात कह रहा हूँ. देख, started annoying him, started threatening him, मार देंगे, वीडियो apologize करो, ये करो, वो करो. Then it came to us. So third day we started taking it serious because he was getting a call every minute. In fact, when we went to the police station, the cop first didn't believe something like ridiculous like this can happen. He was like an ACP level guy, and he took the phone and it was ringing. He continued. He got 5 calls in the 2 minutes. Then he said, "Okay, it's serious. ये तो बच्चन साहब level पे हो गया इसे, because बच्चन साहब को 84 का आज तक कॉल आता है." बेसिकली कनाडा और ऑस्ट्रेलिया में अनएम्प्लॉयड सिख यूथ बहुत है. कोई काम नहीं है उनको और बाप दादा के पैसे हैं अब उनके पास, तो फोन घुमाने में कोई टेंशन नहीं है. कोई ना कोई उन्हें चूतिया बना जाता है. नेट पे उसको वायरल कर दिया था, उस वीडियो को, पर्टिकुलर उस हिस्से को SRO को करके और उसमें अपनी लाइन्स ऐड वैड करके. guy who wrote that particular gag, he has never taken responsibility for it. We took. Varun has taken, afraid to take responsibility. It's fear. It's fear of a mob rushing at you. That's the fear all of us have, right?
और मेरा बस यही मैसेज है कि मेरे मुस्लिम भाई भी सक्सेसफुल मैराथन रनर बन सकते हैं, स्पेशली जो गुजरात में है, क्योंकि उन्हें तो आदत है ना भागने की. और जी भागो, मोदी आया.
We were asked for an apology, so I wrote this thing, which was an apology as well as a kind of statement from a writer that what he feels while writing an apology for something which he stands for.
We are very, very sorry. No comedian or humor writer likes to explain a joke, but when you are getting two death threats every minute for 72 hours non-stop, when you're faced with that universal phenomenon of offense has been taken for hurting sentiments of a community, when your lines are being taken out of context to present a scenario of hatred and the resultant hate speech generated against you gives you vivid descriptions of how your mother was fornicated and how you will be killed soon, a comedian has to step aside and let the failed humans we all are take the stage.
It resolved because if you're not giving in, what is your option? They can't kill you for a Fauja Singh video. Ridiculous. They're not going to do it. They have not killed Jagdish Titler. Why will they kill me? It's stupid.
Darshan ke dinon mein, just before the 8:30 p.m. Hindi news, there used to be this Nirodh condom ad based on this old Raj Kapoor song, प्यार हुआ इकरार हुआ, प्यार से फिर क्यों डरता है दिल. उसमें वो 2 लोग छाता लेके जा रहे हैं, बारिश पड़ रही है. छाता is obviously a metaphor for condom. बारिश obviously is a metaphor for you know what. और जैसे ही वो ad आता था, the moment that ad played on TV, there was this huge fog of discomfort in the room. And me and my younger brother had to walk out to the kitchen pretending that we are thirsty. और उस तरह के environment का, हर रोज हम उठ के जा, उस तरह के environment का ये असर हुआ मेरे पर. 2 major असर हुए. One, I still feel guilty listening to that song. गिल्टी छोड़ दो, कहीं बजता है तो मुझे प्यास लगने लगती है. I have that arrogance of a writer which says ki fuck you, if you don't get this joke, it doesn't matter to me. Okay, because this joke is genuine, it's an original observation.
Again, in those days of late 80s, early 90s, हम लोग VCR लाते थे घर में, और VCR और साथ में वो कलर टीवी लाते थे, और 4-5 वीडियो कैसेट लाते थे फॉर दोज लाइक नाइट आउट्स ऑफ मूवी वॉचिंग, रेंट पे लाते थे. And again, in those nights of movie watching, my father used to sit next to the VCR. And the moment some intimate scene played, he would just fast forward it. और उसका असर भी मुझे बहुत सालों बाद पता चला when after my marriage, my wife kept telling me, you're going too fast.
And again, because I'm a writer, I'm not a performer, it makes me nervous. Because if somebody who is a performer, and there are many, almost everybody in Bombay I know and in Delhi I know are better performers than me. But I still choose to not put any effort in performance because I think arrogance wins over nervousness.
Why are we comedians? Is because we couldn't get work anywhere else. We're the guys who didn't work in class, trying to find the shortcut to everything, and hence we became comedians. So I don't want to lose fact of that beautiful reality that I am a calm chore first, and that's the whole idea behind my comedy.
The people of all age groups, different social backgrounds in the audience, and all of them strangers to you. And making all of them laugh at the same time on the same thing is what gives you a kick.
Point करूँ कि क्या चीज़ मुझे push करती है इस direction में, मुझसे अपने आसपास की बेवकूफ़ियाँ और नाइंसाफ़ियाँ बर्दाश्त नहीं होती हैं, और मुझे लगता है कि मुझे कुछ करना चाहिए इसके बारे में.
मेरा कॉमेडी में आने का तात्कालिक कारण था फरहान अख्तर का. मैंने एक शो लिखा था ओ इट्स फ्राइडे ऑन टीवी, एंड ही यूज्ड टू डू स्टैंड अप कॉमेडी. आई यूज्ड टू राइट इट. द इनिशियल 5-10 minutes ऑफ द शो वाज स्टैंड अप कॉमेडी. एक तो डिफरेंस इन पे वाज सो मच. ही वाज गेटिंग आई थिंक क्लोज टू 40 lakhs पर एपिसोड. I was getting 20,000 for writing the lines which he read from a teleprompter, my lines. 2, he was not doing it with any level of excellence. So I realized कि खराब comedy करनी है और मेरी lines पे करनी है तो मैं खुद ही कर लूँगा यार.
The main problem I faced was a lack of expression earlier. There was no proper outlet for my thoughts or my anger or my sadness or whatever, the frustration. So I think now comedy helps me channel that.
I am partially blind and you guys are fucking beautiful.
Almost 3 years of comedy, I haven't mentioned my eyesight thing on stage. That's, I think, almost because it was a point I was trying to prove to myself, saying I don't want people to associate me as the blind comic. I don't want the sympathy card because I don't have time for that.
My dad's friends the other day said, wait. If you're blind, where's your seeing eye dog? Huh? Where's your cane? I'm like, uncle, for fuck's sake, I can't find them.
My observations are coming through this disability. So now, when I take the disability out but make the observation, it's funny, but it's not got its full punch. Because there's no context for them. It's almost like a joke has found its home. You know, it's really being really romantic about it, but it's almost found its true voice.
Walking on Broken Das, which is kind of the show that I wrote, that show, it's called, a lot of people thought it was called Broken Das because I'd broken it up into characters and segments. It was called Broken Das because I was just broken at that point. I was unemployed, I'd cancelled a wedding, I was in a horrible space in my life, and I just sat down and started writing. They may be damaged people, what you call damaged people, but here is a damaged guy who's on stage talking about his issues. What better therapy is there? You know? And there are other damaged people who are like, saying, yeah, dude, if he can laugh at the pain he goes through, why can't I deal with it?
Saurabh, me, Varun, Grover, we all had, like, we were all faddies. Really? Yeah. Who, you know, just wanted a way to kind of make friends easily. And I think to me personally, it was also being able to control what's being made fun of and making sure it's not me.
I was really fat and that has kind of shaped my whole life. इतना ज़्यादा bullying होता था स्कूल में, इतना ज़्यादा I was living in that inferiority complex.
When I was a kid, I used to get bullied a lot, be it in my complex, in my colony where I used to live.
I started laughing at myself also. कोई मुझे मोटा बोलता था तो मैं खुद ही उसको बता देता था कि मेरा नाम वरुण ग्रोवर नहीं बलून ग्रोवर है.
After 10th standard, suddenly I found this sense of humor as my weapon to get back at people.
That's how I got this streak of doing wisecracks also at other people, but starting with myself. And it helped me over the years to kind of develop this whole idea of satire, idea of subversion, idea of making fun of people and still making them believe कि मैं अपने पे joke कर रहा हूँ.
You can survive anything with humor. You really, really can.
A performer needs to be, you know, I don't know, be attached to the world.
To not get raped, आप या तो अंडरवेयर पहन लो, ठीक है, या वो ताइक्वांडो सीख लो, या भैया बोल लो, या दुपट्टा ओढ़ लो, क्योंकि हम नहीं सुधरने वाले. That's where things stand. That's what we are telling women. कि हम कुछ नहीं कर, आप देख लो, आपको ताइक्वांडो आता है तो बच जाओगे, नहीं तो.
There was a pretty horrendous rape in Mumbai, and when it happened, it shocked people because it happened in an area that's perceived to be safe and urban and all of that. When something like that happens, emotions automatically run high immediately. So everybody's at a higher emotional pitch. I was operating at a higher emotional pitch, so was she. I don't think I was wrong to say what I said. I think she misunderstood what I said.
It's a comment on 2-3 things in one line.
If that same joke was done as a stand-up set live, it would have worked because the audience was there for it. But on Twitter,
And if he did it live, his delivery would be completely different.
When it comes to a rape or something like that, I think all of us, none of us are in the mood to joke at that point of time.
So you don't think the timing was a little awry given that emotions are very high and you know, it's too
No, because, no, I mean, I was offering a comment. I wasn't attempting to trivialize the incident in any way.
Would you have actually put it up?
you don't want to risk it. Again, the same thing I said before that our business is where we're catering to the audience. So you don't want to piss them off. There's a line between being edgy and pissing them off. So
I mean, but again, in his defense, it was an anti-establishment joke.
When it comes to people who tweet or people who put up Facebook updates on a regular basis, people like me, we have the luxury of being able to do that primarily because we don't fall into the categories that matter. They're rich people who give a shit about which government is in power because it defines how much they can earn over the coming quarter. And the poor people who kind of have to deal with the fact that they can afford one onion or more on the basis of what the government decides to do. Luckily, because I'm part of a large middle class, I'm largely unaffected by whatever clown is currently in power. So I have the luxury of being able to go and tweet about it. It's not as if I'm looking for people who are going to be amused by anything I'm saying. I'm doing it primarily because I'm pissed off about a number of people and there's no one I can sort of crib to. So I'm looking for nervous laughter.
In this Twitter generation, nobody really wants to read long articles. So in that sense, even I prefer shorter articles. If you create, say, picture kind of jokes, or if you create a fake Facebook wall, these kind of stuff tend to go viral more. People consume those kind of stuff more. But I want to, I don't want to compromise on the written articles over there.
The idea is to make it as snappy as possible, and by snappy I don't just mean using sort of puns, cheap puns and things like that, but to keep sentences shorter, to use words which are in very common parlance, and no one will have to stretch out their hands to find a dictionary. Basic humor, or slapstick humor if you want to call it, is watching a fat man slip on a banana peel. I mean, that's classic definition. Satire comes in when it is made clear that the fat man is a corrupt corporation official who's been cheating public funds for his own ends, and that banana peel is there because he hasn't paid the sweepers enough to clean up the garbage, and he slips on his own. He gets hoisted by his own banana peel, so to speak. This is part of the ethics of satire, that it's always David taking on a Goliath. You do not target someone who is politically, economically, or in any way weaker than you. Political personalities as different as Jayalalitha and Arun Jaitley have tried to get me, if not sacked, at least gagged. Yeah.
I got a legal notice from a cabinet minister because I did a piece criticizing the way he was going about, trying to censor. I'm basically a very high-strung kind of person. Small things can set me off, and plunge me into deep brooding kind of thing. So humor is a kind of a survival instinct. It's a defense mechanism. There's one guy who would send an abusive mail, one email every day. One email every day. It's like you wake up, do your shit and have your coffee, then sit at your laptop and send this email to this guy. It went on for some 6 months after the piece came out. It's not just offense, there's something more going on. You don't really mind it too much because then you know that you're sort of hitting home at some level, and you know that your humor is still subversive in some dimension.
Your career as a comic, where's the money actually coming from? Bars aren't paying enough to sustain you for a month. The only way you're making money is by performing for corporates.
The corporate shows are the ones which are basically you get paid to humiliate yourself.
Every business has a prostitution side of the business, right? You got to feed the soul, but you got to feed the stomach as well.
Recently, a friend of mine, he showed me a currency counting machine. You guys must be knowing about this. I didn't even know this currency counting machines. He put VAT of 1,000 rupees, zuck, 1 lakh rupees, like that, zuck, 1 lakh rupees. Dude, if you're making so much money, you cannot even count your money, then you don't need to count your money anymore. You have enough. Your bank statements just say enough.
The money is huge, I believe. I've been told in the illusionary, money is huge.
You know, when this friend put that VAT of 1,000 rupees, zuck, 1 lakh rupees, that for me became a sound of 1 lakh, zuck. You know how much I get paid in a corporate show? Z. No, not even that, just is, that's it. Is. Do your 30 minutes, take is, go home with your is and party.
When somebody comes to see you at your show, they've come into your environment. You can do what you want, say what you want, right? But when you go to a corporate show, you've gone into their environment. This whole angle of I'm an artist, boss, freedom of speech doesn't work.
Corporate shows, brightly lit, table clusters sitting there, the bar is on, service is on, half the people are not listening to you. Half the poor guys have been in a conference from 10 in the morning till 6:37. They're waiting, they're seeing the bar over there about to start and they're saying, "Arey, tu khatam kar, tu ja, to I want to have 2 drinks."
It's just a chance to drink booze that is above their pay grade and hit on some chick from HR. So they don't really care about you.
इनके सामने आप नुसरत फतेह अली खान साहब को बिठा दो, ये उसको भी नहीं सुनेंगे. ये आपस में अपनी मैट्रिक्स डिस्कस करते रहते हैं फ्रंट डेस्क पे बैठ के कि यार वो मंडे को ये मीटिंग है तो उसका अकाउंट का क्या हुआ, इस अकाउंट का क्या हुआ, लास्ट हॉलीडे में मैं कहाँ गया. वो नुसरत साहब तक को नहीं दूंगा, आप बीटल्स ले आओ इनके सामने. ये क्योंकि इनको लगता है ये कौन है. डेवलपमेंट तो हम कर रहे हैं, इंडिया शाइन हम कर रहे हैं, चला हम रहे हैं, कंपनी मैं चला रहा हूँ, ये पता नहीं कौन गिटार बजा रहा है यहाँ पे आके.
Why is everybody in India killing themselves to become managers? Everybody in India, every kid wants to give the CAT and the GMAT and the ZAT and become a manager. Right? You ask them what they want to do. Dude, I'll do my MBA and then I'll become manager. Achha, then what you do? Then I'll manage. Manage is such a weak and defeatist word. There is no pride or glory in it. Manage is something a poor man does when he's fucked and he has no other option. It's never positive, Wasim. It's never positive. It's always something like, "Hey man, I heard they had the fuel prices. What are you going to do about it?"
ये कॉर्पोरेट तालिबान है। जिस तरीके से जो तालिबान के यहाँ रूल्स होते हैं ना कि आप मंडे टू थर्सडे तो आपने फॉर्मल पहनना है, गेट पे टाई रखनी है, जो नहीं है उसको टाई पहनानी है। तालिबान कहता है कि सलवार को घुटने मतलब टखने से इतना ऊपर रखना है, अगर आपने नहीं किया ये सस्पेंड करते हैं, वो भी अपने स्टाइल से सस्पेंड कर देते हैं। ये कहते हैं कि भाई अगर आप तालिबान कहता है कि अपना काम आप ठीक से करोगे तो आपको 72 हुरे मिल जाएंगी। कॉर्पोरेट ये कहता है कि अगर आप अपना काम ठीक से करोगे आपको बैंकॉक का टिकट दे देंगे, वहाँ 72 का 144 हुरे ले लेना आप। तो दोनों में आप देख रहे हैं कि बहुत सिमिलरिटी।
And corporates are interested in people whose life you're yet to live, right? So essentially there is this experiential difference. So you have to make up for that gap.
You have to play to an audience which is full of 40, 50-year-old old farts who are not used to laughing, and every brief is the same. Every brief is don't talk about politics, don't talk about sex, don't talk about religion.
It diminishes your material, right? You go to a show, they'll call you half an hour before the show. They'll say, so and so is coming, you know, this doesn't work, this doesn't work. You're like, oh, mere paas fir, I only have half an hour of material, right?
I think it's a folly to say that corporate shows do not allow you the bandwidth to explore your art form. Dealer shows are more boisterous, more rowdy, and more politically incorrect than, they might be able to do it in a public platform.
You have to evolve harmless content, as we say, or inconsequential content, which I like to say. As comics, उसमें थोड़ा आपको मन नहीं आता because that doesn't come out naturally, right? पर you take it as a challenge, right?
Why should only politically incorrect and why should only swear words be the whole crutch of your humor? And isn't that a telling sign on yourself?
It is a more formal kind of a setup, and that worked for me because even today my material is nothing to do with adult material.
So basically what corporates prefer is mimicry. यही बात अमिताभ बच्चन बोलता तो कैसे बोलता?
Sometimes event companies, they are paying you, they have got the money in the entire deal, they have fulfilled the customer's obligations. I've got a belly dancer, I've got a stand-up comic, I've got this, I've got 4 of these guys. Now this is a show.
It's almost like the solo guy playing piano in a shopping mall. You know, he's doing it because the setup needs it. Because when you go to the urinal, you need something in your ears. Because it will just give the air of poshness to the whole thing.
Adam Gilchrist is a very good player. He's like the West Indians from 75, 76. All were a bunch of great hookers. Adam Gilchrist is a great hooker as well. And he's giving people their money's worth.
हमारे माताएं बहनें जो यहाँ पर आए हैं, कृपया बैठ जाइए. कृपया बैठ जाइए.
बाबा, वो लोग तो पहले से ही बैठे हुए हैं. ये बदतमीज आदमी बैठ जा.
सरकार के सारे मंत्री चपरासी बनने के भी लायक नहीं है, छितर पड़नी चाहिए पैन.
It is the interest of the entire community to decide whether it is a building is causing pollution, it is a environmental hazard.
The more corporate shows you do, the more freedom it gives you to try other things in your day-to-day life because you're no longer worried about where the money is coming from.
मुझे कॉर्पोरेट से लेने में रत्ती भर भी गिल्ट नहीं होती क्योंकि इनके पास सबसे ज्यादा करप्ट मनी है. इनकी करप्शन की हद ही नहीं है. ना उसके ऊपर कोई टैब है, ना उसके ऊपर कोई पुलिसिंग है. तो मुझे कोई दिक्कत नहीं है. तुम हराम की कमा रहे हो तो थोड़ी हमें भी दो. कम से कम मैं हराम की तो नहीं कमा रहा.
I went to this corporate show and it was the weirdest show I have ever been to. All shows combined in my life. They were like 70%, 60, 70% foreigners and 30% Indians. I was told previously to not do jokes on caste and religion and slangs, which I asked specifically, which they meant Hindi galis and F words. I said okay. So I start talking about stuff which was mostly my personal stories. The jokes were like really mild jokes about Indians honk at traffic signals and foreigners don't, and and people were so offended in like within 7-8 minutes of the show. The girl, one of the organizers, she came up to me in the middle of my performance and tapped on my shoulder and told me, stop the show right now. There was this angry bunch of people of all ages and both the genders. They asked me, तुझे शर्म नहीं आती खुद को इंडियन कहते हुए? Somebody else said, तुझे शर्म नहीं आती, तूने IIT वाले ऐसे होते हैं क्या? Most of the people were offended only because I put down India in front of foreigners. Either the brand of IIT and the brand of India is so fragile that a stand-up comic in a small hotel in a gathering of 150 people can just break the idea of India. Okay, which no Khalistan movement, no Gorkhaland movement could ever break. Or these people are suffering from an inferiority complex of like biblical proportions.
In the old Bollywood films, the gunshots sounded so cheap, no? Because they always meant discount, 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 discount.
Puns are nice when they're awful. I always thought that the more awful the pun is, the more hilarious it gets. But they're always nice in small doses.
I fucking hate puns. I really, really do.
What joke did the veteran who stepped on a landmine crack? A lame joke.
People who pun should be just killed on stage. How dare you pun?
So I remember from the 1980s, if you picked up any Reader's Digest and you went to the humor sections, the Indian contributions were always puns. Always it was based upon wordplay. Why do you think that is?
Yeah, I think we are obsessed with wordplay because we are obsessed with, we have a system of education which is also almost a road system. So we are obsessed with the logistics of things rather than the essence of it. That's why you see so many Indian kids and mostly Tambram kids winning spelling bee in America. Always, because we are not seeing the वो अगर मीनिंग का कॉन्टेस्ट होगा ना तो मेरे को लगता है उसमें नहीं जीतेंगे अपने बच्चे, या हो सकता है उतना भी रट लें, बट मीनिंग का यूजेज का कॉन्टेस्ट होगा तो जरूर आ जाएंगे. That's why we are the fucking coolies of IT world right now. We are just doing like जो सबसे आसान काम है उसको हम रगड़ के कितना भी कर सकते हैं. यहाँ इनोवेशन करना है, इन्वेंशन करना है, वहाँ हम नहीं है.
Are you optimistic about the future? Because you don't think
it's a software production house. No. I'm not optimistic at all. I think we are going down the tube, honestly, and there is no hope. And if we continue this way, and hence his personality has become this serious, grave thing. I think there's a chance, and we have to look at it. Otherwise, there's no point living in any case. So I'm not that negative. But yes, there are some moments when we really think terribly about the country. Because the sad part is that there seems to be a fringe which is growing, which is the right-wing fringe. And by right-wing, I don't mean political right-wing.
And they're the
right-wing.
popular fringe. Yeah, right now, what is happening in India? Every form of expression is being corrupted by neoliberal upper middle class and pseudo intellectuals. वो अपना ये जन्म से अधिकार समझते हैं कि उनको हक है कि वो फिल्में भी बनाएंगे, वो कहानियां भी सुनाएंगे, अब वो कॉमेडी भी करेंगे.
India's become one giant Bollywood, and not just in the film industry. I think we want sensationalism that we see in Bollywood, like every small thing becomes wow. My main problem with in this Bollywoodization context is just the lowering of standards, like in all aspects of life.
आप आज़ादी के बाद से एक ऐसी चीज़ बताइए जो आपने बनाई और उसे देखने के लिए कोई बाहर से टूरिज्म टिकट लेके देखने आता हो. आपने कुछ नहीं बनाया, अपनी आइडेंटिटी खोई है. आज जो जनरेशन है ये अपनी आइडेंटिटी को रियलाइज कर रही है.
There is all this fright now of losing what you have, because there was a certain group that controlled things. That control is you're going to lose. It's inevitable.
Anger is building up in people. Humor is that valve which lets out all this built-up pressure. There's a hiss of steam comes out.
Stand-up comedy or comedy of any kind of prepares you for or teaches you to shut the non-liberal in you up and keep the liberal up.
Humor is an essential ingredient in democracy. You rule out humor, you don't have a democracy anymore.
अरे हाय ये डेमोक्रेसी सांप के मुंह में छुछुंदर जैसी उगली जाए न निकली जाए ऐसी तैसी डेमोक्रेसी फिर भी शान से तुझी को पाला सीधी सी बात न मिर्च मसाला कहते रहेगा कहने वाला दिल का हाल सुने दिल वाला 1 2 3 गो दिल का हाल सुने दिल वाला सीधी सी बात न मिर्च मसाला, कहते रहेगा कहने वाला, दिल का हाल सुने दिल वाला। अब सुनो, बड़े से वंश का छोटा सा बेटा, पर मैं भी हूं मां के नसीब का बेटा। मैंने तो जम के चप्पल घिसाई, मैंने तो जम के चप्पल घिसाई, 2G से कॉल से आंख चुराई, जीजे ने गुड़गांव जेब में डाला, है जीजे ने गुड़गांव जेब में डाला। सीधी सी बात न मिर्च मसाला, कहते रहेगा कहने वाला, दिल का हाल सुने दिल वाला। अरे देखो जी मैंने तो जीत है पाई, अरबों रुपयों की एड लगाई। अरे देखो जी मैंने तो जीत है पाई, अरबों रुपयों की एड लगाई। एडों ने ऐसी पट्टी चढ़ाई, फिर गोदरा कोई याद ना आया, दिल का हाल सुनने दिल वाला। जादू की चाय है चांदी का प्याला, जादू की चाय है चांदी का प्याला। अरे बाकी तो सब है सीधी कहानी, आधी माटी आधा पानी। जब कद्दू कटेगा सब में बटेगा, थोड़ा अडानी थोड़ा अंबानी, बाकी ये खाए थानेदार का साला। सीधी सी बात ना मिर्च मसाला, कह के रहेगा कहने वाला, दिल का हाल सुने दिल वाला। हाय रे